Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a homeschool mom to 3 kids. Today's video is going to be all about non-academic things that either my kids have learned or I have learned or we've learned together along this journey so far. So I think that with homeschooling, it's easy to kind of focus on your academic achievements and struggles and things that you're learning and working through. And I love that. I love hearing about that. However, I feel like homeschooling also provides us a lot of valuable things that we learn along this way that aren't really categorized as academic. So the first thing that I have noticed since we've been homeschooling is the strength and kind of evolution of the sibling relationships within our home. Particularly, I'm going to talk about my oldest and my middle child. So I think that homeschooling, because we spend so much time together, they have really kind of learned to play with each other and kind of have developed a friendship, which I love seeing. My middle son has never been kind of that like really imagination driven child. He never really was really great at playing or pretending and that sort of thing. Like he didn't really understand it and it took him a while to kind of catch on. And to be honest, I think having my oldest daughter, who is like the imagination queen, home with us every day, she has really cultivated that in him. She has helped show him how to play pretend, how to imagine a game and make up what to happen next, and really has kind of pulled out the imagination and creativity that was inside of him. It's a really, really cool thing to see, and I noticed it like really quickly after we started homeschooling how much more kind of imaginative he is, and now he has like no problem with it and he's getting more creative every day. I also think that the more time that they spend together, the tighter those sibling bonds are going to get. Yes, they fight nonstop. They argue, they fight with each other a lot of the day, but in those moments where they are really enjoying each other's company, they're problem solving and working together to play, together without fighting, that's a like major skill that they're learning. It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see them really develop friendships. The next thing that I have noticed with homeschooling particularly, and this is comparing, because we pulled my oldest daughter from the public school, I'm comparing how she was when she was in public school versus now. And one thing that I have noticed is that she has a lot more energy and desire to do more things. And by that I mean that when she was in public school, she would come home super tired, worn out and cranky from a full day of trying to behave, trying to learn things, interacting with other kids, all of that stimulation. She'd come home really tired and never really wanted to do much than just sit on the couch and watch some shows. She needed that time to decompress, but she didn't have the energy to dive into any more interests that she had. Since homeschooling, she's discovered a love for baking and cooking, and she's really been able to kind of have the time and the energy to work on that. She is very creative, and so she spends a lot of her day creating stuff, whether it be a play with props, and she like organizes her siblings to do lines and that sort of thing. It's adorable. She's fallen in love with clay, and she loves to make things out of clay, and like she's always drawing and creating, and I love seeing that. And I know that it's because of homeschooling, because of our shorter homeschool days. She's not getting so burnt out. She doesn't have to wake up at a certain time, so she's getting adequate sleep, and that makes a huge difference in that. And I am more able to teach her other things like life skills like cooking and cleaning and baking because she has the time and the energy for it. The next thing that I think homeschooling has really helped with is, particularly with her, she's 11, and I think that being home and having the space to do what she likes to do really has helped not push her to grow up too fast. And I only say that because I feel like when a child is in the school system, and I'm not saying like it's always this case or anything like that, but I feel like they're more apt to want to fit in with their peers there. They want to like what's cool. They want to be interested in what's cool and act the way that, is acceptable to their peers. And for my 11-year-old, seeing the difference between her and like for example, our neighbor girl is only a year older than her, and she's like wearing makeup and really into like fashion and just doesn't really like to play pretend or anything anymore. And with Lacey, she loves to play. Like I said, has the biggest imagination. She plays all day. She's always creating these games. She loves to pretend. She loves toys. And I love that she still loves that. And I love that I feel like homeschooling has given her the space to just be a kid for as long as she wants to be. I'm sure that, the fashion, the makeup, the like more adult-like things are going to come eventually in the next few years. But I'm enjoying seeing that childhood last a little bit longer. The other thing that I've seen is the bond that our family is creating. And this is like an ongoing thing that I'm seeing, I guess, and it's not something like that has happened. It's always happening. I feel like as a family, our bonds are really strengthening by being together. And when you turn into a homeschool parent, it's like there's this whole other side now, and you get to be like the teacher and in charge of their education side of things, which is really cool. It's like a unique little branch of who they are, and it's really cool to be involved in that and just be involved in all aspects of who they are and, training them up. And I think that has created a really strong bond and is creating a really strong bond between me and my children, and then also just making memories together. I can't help but thinking all these memories that we're creating, all the fun projects that we do, all the little laughs that we have, and even the hard days of homeschooling where we've struggled and persevered through it and come out the other side. Like, those are all really great memories to have, and I can't help but thinking how we would have missed out on all of those if she was still in the school system. And I just hold that so valuable to me, and how strong our family is going to be one day. I think that we're going to look back and just be like tight family, and I love that. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is something for me, and that is how much more in tune I am with my kids and how much more observant I am with them. I think that as the homeschool parent, you really have to pay attention to a lot. And you really have to kind of observe your children to see, okay, what do they like? What do they not like? What are their strengths and some things that they struggle with more? Academically and emotionally, mentally, every part of them. And it's really cool. And I feel like I'm really in tune with who they are and how they kind of work, what their inner workings are and how they operate, their learning style, what works best. I feel like I'm learning that as we go and have come so far in that aspect. And I feel like I'm pretty in tune with them. I can tell, if something's going to work for them, if a way is not going to work for them. If something isn't working, I have kind of figured out a way to kind of reword something or do something different to show them in a way that does work for them. I think that it's just really got me to get to know my kids on a deeper level, and it's really cool. The last thing I'm going to talk about is growth mindset. And I would say growth mindset for myself and my kids. We have a lot of perfectionism issues, both in myself and my oldest daughter, a little bit into my son, but my oldest daughter especially, because I feel like that was kind of created during her previous experiences. And so we've really had to work through that perfectionism and getting super frustrated when something gets or feels hard. And myself included, sometimes I expect this picture perfect way of things working out, and a lot of times that's not how it goes. And I've had to kind of realize that that's going to happen and not get so caught up or discouraged when my perfect scenario doesn't play out. And I also have had to work through things that are more struggles for me academically and so on, and relearn some things that I haven't used in a while, since I was in school, to be able to teach them to my children. And so that's been kind of a little hurdle, and I feel like it's an ongoing thing. I'm always coming to something that I'm like, oh, wait, we have to try to learn this together. And that whole idea, that whole mindset of learning together, I think is such a key point for our homeschool in particular, personally. That is something I've had to have as a sole focus. from the get-go, I told my children, like, we're in this together. We're learning together. And I'm here for you. I'm not going to just sit there and mark you wrong or leave you on your own or anything. Like, I'm going to work through this with you. We're a team. And I think that that team mentality for us is just such a big focus and something that's really helped us in our homeschool. So I hope that you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about what we have kind of learned along our way so far. I would love to hear about any like non-academic things that you guys have kind of learned or grown in down below. I would love to hear them. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye.